Steven Stumpf, Frontstretch.com. Justin, you led all but 28 laps. You led the final 95. Of all of the races you've run at JRM, of all the wins you have, where does this today rank among, I guess, the most dominant victories, the best cars you've ever driven?
Probably number one, most dominant. But on the other side of that, you know, this racetrack, I mean, the history of Darlington, throwback weekend, I mean, there's so many things that just make this one special, right? I don't know why I can't win in the fall. I only seem to win here when it's throwback weekend, so yeah, I don't know what causes that one, but at the same time, you know, it's this racetrack just brings out what I love about this sport. You know, you have to save tires, but you also don't want to get behind. You still need some clean air, but you know, battling with Austin Hill all day, I mean, it was fun, but it's nerve-wracking because you're trying to manage gap and not run the tires off of it, and then you still end up running the tires off of it, but so do they. So then, you know, you don't really know what to expect of how the finishes are going to come down to it. But I knew, as good as our car was on the short run, especially early on, that if we had a late race caution, kind of how we did, that we were going to be in good shape. But then it was just, okay, how hard can you push at the beginning to not run the tires off of it for the end if there is another caution, or you know, if you obviously slow down a little bit, they're going to catch you. So I think that made today more dominant than anything, is just being able to fire off and get going, and managing the gap the best we could.
And then you mentioned excitement of your third win here. This is at Darlington's actually the first track you won 3 races at in Xfinity. So I guess, you know, how fun, how exciting is it to, you know, have that hat trick?
At one point, this is probably the worst racetrack I went to, statistically, right? And just didn't run good, and hated coming here. Even though I love this racetrack, it's not that I loved coming here like as a fan, and I loved what this racetrack embodied. I just didn't want to drive on the racetrack because I knew it wasn't going to be very good. And I've changed my approach a lot to this event, and really just, you know, I think sometimes it's really easy to get baited into trying to push a lot harder than what you need to push here. And obviously today was a little bit different story. We're up front, we're battling up front. Nothing really went against us, right? We didn't really lose a ton of spots on pit road. We didn't have the wrong lane on a restart, or we didn't, you know, all those things that you just mentally kind of throw you off your game. Today, everything just kind of functioned and worked the way that it's supposed to. And I feel like that made today more enjoyable, right? Like, I was able to thank my guys and able to be proud of what we were doing because things were just falling into place, and it was like a well-oiled machine. And so I think that when it works like it did today, it's easier to go into the next one and say, okay, let's feed off of that. And what we did there was a good thing, and we can do it again.
Thank you.
Trenton, Worsham, Frontstretch.com. It seemed like when you're battling with Austin Hill, the top lane for you was better, and he said afterwards that if whoever had clean air was going to be the winner or lead the race. Did you feel that way, or did you feel like the top lane there really gave you an advantage? And the second one for you is, you talked about things that could go wrong. You guys executed really well on pit road today as well, so talk a little bit about your pit crew as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Austin's right. You know, I probably got a little bit lucky on the first restart when we were side by side, and was able to clear him off the bottom. And when he took the bottom on the next one, I thought, man, I feel bad because he thinks that the bottom is better, but it's not. And so I'm going to take the top and be really good right here. And it obviously worked out to my favor. But then after that, you know, taking the top, you know, I felt like I was able to drive through turn 1 and 2 so good on new tires. And again, I think that's where the short run balance that we had kind of came into fruition, right? Like, you're able to do those things and get out. He was still super fast. He was able to do some things in 3 and 4 that I maybe wasn't, but I felt like I was a little bit better in 1 and 2. And to his point, I think clean air was super important. We saw that at the beginning of the race. You know, when I think we started 7th, and just trying to manage our way through there. I mean, we got to 3rd, but obviously the car was really good. And you know, the farther towards the front we got, kind of the faster we got comparative to the field. So I definitely think there's something to that. And I, you know, Eddie was able to kind of tell me where he was making gains on me. And then, you know, if I was able to take a little bit of his air away, it was a big help to me. And then after about 5 or 8 laps, I feel like our car held on quite a bit better than his did. So, you know, that helped me. But even at the end there, I mean, you know, you're managing the gap, but you're still, you know, he's still going for all he's got. I'm still going for all I've got. Even though you're trying to save some tire, you know that you can't just lay up. And so I think that he's somewhat right. But you know, we were lucky enough to be able to get rolling a little bit better there. And then as far as the pit crew is concerned, not everybody on my team was normal today. We did have a different crew member. One of the crew members was different today. But at the same time, you know, it is so hard right now with having guys from Sunday that do single lug to come on Saturday and to do 5 lug, right? It's I don't envy their job. I know how much of a change there is for them week in and week out. And so the fact that they even volunteer to do it is special to me, right? And they genuinely want to come to these Xfinity Series races and be a part of it. And sometimes you don't get to pay them back for that, right? But today, being able to go to Victory Lane and seeing the smiles on their faces, you're like, that's pretty cool, you know, and it puts the hard work that they put in behind the scenes, kind of it gives them a warm fuzzy, if you will, for knowing that we put in the work and it worked out for us. So, you know, they did a fantastic job today on pit road. They executed well. And, you know, were we the fastest on pit road? Probably not. But you know what we did? We didn't make any mistakes. They did all the right things, and we were able to put ourselves in a good position and obviously keep clean air. So, you know, that to me is, I think Double Zero lost a bunch on the first pit stop, right? And it was so hard to watch him get back to the field. Like I'm watching, and it's not. I mean, it happens to all of us, right? And that's not blaming anybody on that car. But when you watch how difficult it is to come back to the field, you're very thankful when you have a day like today where, you know, we didn't make any mistakes.
This is Harrison Burton, driver the number 21. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, check out one of these 2 videos beside me. Visit Frontstretch.com for more racing content.